If you're not yet signed up for GBFC Selects, make sure you do so. You've got to be 18 plus, terms and conditions apply. Free chance to win £1,000. Link is in the description. Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. It is FA Cup semi-final day and it is time for the GBFC match preview for Chelsea versus Manchester City. This is the biggest test that Thomas Tuchel has had so far as Chelsea manager. He's never beaten Pep Guardiola in the 5 times that he's faced him previously. However, that was playing against Bayern Munich in the Bundesliga. So it's kind of a little bit of an unfair statistic against him. However, I believe today that Chelsea are going to make an FA Cup final. Going to build my team. We're going to talk a little bit about our opposition because they are currently, in my opinion, the best team in the world. I think they're playing the best football. They look the most solid defensively. The cat is having an absolute Barney. And I think this is going to be an incredibly difficult game, but I think Chelsea can come out on top. Before we get into my lineup though, I want to ask you to subscribe to GBFC. We've got the goal to hit 200,000 before the season is over, or at the end of the season. It would be a nice little extra victory for us. If we don't get any trophies, at least we could hit 200,000, hopefully. But without any further ado, let's talk a little bit about what makes this Manchester City team so damn good. First thing is how organised they are. Every single time they lose the ball, they're chasing it back down again like a pack of wolves, but it's in a manner where everybody on the field knows their position so well that they never really get caught out of position. And if they do, they've got so much pace to rely on throughout the field that they always seem to manage to get the ball back. In terms of their 2 centre halves, who I think have been absolutely excellent, John Stones and Ruben Diaz. Diaz has been one of the signings of the season. I mean, we talk about some of the Chelsea players maybe not living up to the expectations that a lot of people gave them at the beginning of the season. Ruben Diaz kind of went under the radar because Chelsea were the talk of the town last summer when we were signing all of our players. Ruben Diaz to Manchester City, at least for me, it went under the radar. I didn't realise just how good of a top quality centre half he is. You've also got the quite magnificent Kevin De Bruyne, who it's always a struggle as a Chelsea fan to talk about De Bruyne because, well, you all know it. He was a Chelsea player. Mourinho didn't want him. He left us. Now look at him. He's probably the best midfielder in the world, and he's always going to be a danger. He likes to score against Chelsea. He always seems to find a way to score against us. And I think today, if we can keep him quiet, then Chelsea can certainly win this game. We move into my starting 11. I've got a bit of a hangover today. I'm sure you guys can probably tell from my voice. I had a bit of a wild one last night. I haven't had a single drink in weeks, so I thought I'd go to the pub and have a couple of beers, and a couple of beers turned into more than a couple of beers. But we start with the goalkeeper. Not sure why you guys care about that, to be honest, but we start with Edouard Mendy. There is part of me that thinks that Kepa will start today because he's had a bit of a run in the FA Cup this season. However, I just feel as though Mendy at the moment, his form is so good that I think for this game where Chelsea are looking to make an FA Cup final, it is absolutely massive. I know a lot of people don't see the FA Cup the same way that they used to, but when it comes to me building my team here today, I've gone with what I think is the strongest 11 that Chelsea can field for a one-off match that we need to win to make it to an FA Cup final to play either Leicester or Southampton, who play tomorrow. So Mendy's the informed goalkeeper. He's been very, very good all season long, and I believe he should be starting this game. We move into the centre-back 3 of Azpilicueta, Thiago Silva, and Rudiger. I thought Thiago Silva against Porto, despite obviously we conceded a goal in the 93rd minute of the absolute highest quality, I think Silva was brilliant. He was instrumental defensively for Chelsea in that game against Porto. His experience was absolutely key, and I think he's going to be needed in such a massive game where Chelsea are going to need to call upon their leaders in order to be able to beat this incredibly experienced and high quality Manchester City side. Part of me does believe that Zuma might play instead because we might be looking for a bit of that height, or Christensen, who's been in excellent form, might start as well. It's a very tough one to read, this one, but I think it's going to be Azpi, Rudiger and Thiago Silva. we move into the wing-backs and, of course, Reece James, Ben Chilwell. Been incredibly impressed, particularly by Chilwell over the last couple of games. I think he's coming into some really good form, which is not obviously just important for Chelsea, but it's also very key for Ben for the fact that he wants to be England's #1 left-back this summer at the Euros. So Chilwell is definitely keeping his place. I think he's managed to win that position off of Marcus Alonso now. I think he's playing very, very well. I think he's got a lot better at the attacking duties that he's required to do in this role. And I think he's definitely got a start. Reece James as well, in the right wing back position, has been absolutely excellent. I think week by week, game by game, we're seeing huge developments in Reece James's maturity. He gets forward at the right times, defends very well. He's very rarely caught out of position these days, which before, it was my biggest qualm that I had with Reece James, was defensively, he was often caught off guard. But I think now, for me, there's absolutely no one else that can play in this position. I think as long as Reece James is fit, he needs to be playing every single game for Chelsea Football Club. We move into the central midfield two of N'Golo Kante and Jorginho. The bad news is that Mateo Kovacic is going to be out for a couple of weeks. Apparently it's going to be 3 weeks. I'm hoping it's going to be a little shorter than that because otherwise he's going to miss that Real Madrid game. However, Kante's energy, Jorginho for controlling that tempo and the Chelsea passing press. I think this is a midfield that can certainly deal, despite that quality that Manchester City have. I think a Jorginho-Kante partnership is going to be very, very good for us today. I think if Chelsea are going to win the game, Jorginho needs to have one of his good games. You know, we've seen him against City in the past where he's looked a little bit lost because they're so powerful when they attack Manchester City, and Jorginho is getting caught out of position. But I think he's going to be instrumental. If Chelsea are going to get the win, it's a knockout game of football. We can't be playing for the draw, even though it's a very strong Manchester City side. We've got to be going out there looking for the win. Jorginho is going to need to play those clip passes forwards, and I think he could be instrumental for us today, as I've already said. That midfield battle is going to be incredibly key. We move into the front three, and even though it didn't really work out against Porto, you guys absolutely rinsed me for not giving a box to Christian Pulisic, and I want to give an apology here on GBFC because I did well and truly get that one wrong. Christian Pulisic 100% deserved the box, and I think he's got to start. At the moment, he's probably the most in-form attacker that we have. His last couple of performances, Crystal Palace, and that performance particularly in the last 20 when he was getting absolutely shredded by Porto players, was absolutely fantastic from Pulisic. And he starts alongside Mason Mount. Of course, Mason Mount's got to be playing. And I've stuck Kai Havertz up front again. I think he's looked very, very decent in this position. I think his off-the-ball movement has been very good. His hold-up play has been very good as well. He involves Pulisic on the edge of the area. He involves Mount and the wing-backs who come forward as well. And I think that Kai Havertz has done enough in the past couple of games, particularly last weekend against Palace, to start for me. I think Timo Werner has been out of form, and as much as we've given him the benefit of the doubt so many times this season, this is an FA Cup semi-final, and we can't go giving opportunities to players in the hope that they're going to prove themselves and actually deliver when there are players who 100% deserve, based off of their performances, to be in the starting 11 for such a massive game at Wembley Stadium. So Pulisic, Mason Mount and Kai Havertz are my front three, pretty much making no changes to the team that lost but beat Porto on Tuesday night. Going to wrap this preview up for you guys here. Don't want to take any more of your time. The match is at 5:30 this evening, I believe, so it's going to be another late one for me. And 6 Things We Learned will be out straight after the game, so stay tuned for that one. Fingers crossed that Chelsea can get the job done. It is a massive, massive game. As I said at the beginning, make sure you're signed up to GBFC Selects if you haven't already done so. Get yourself a chance to win £1,000 just for answering 10 simple questions. Hit the like button if you did enjoy this video. Let's see if we can get it to 3,000 likes before the game kicks off tonight. My prediction is a 2-1 Chelsea win. I think we're going to get to the FA Cup final, win the FA Cup, win the Champions League, and maybe we'll beat City in the final. See you guys after the game. Come on, you Blues.